What up, everybody? Coach Chad here, the CEO of the Next Level Coaching Academy. We've got our lovely and beautiful wife here, Caitlin, now
Our
Molyneux.
lovely, beautiful wife?
Yes, she's married to the Fit CEO podcast. Yes, my beautiful and lovely wife, Caitlin Molyneux, is on the podcast today. As promised, highly anticipated, we're talking about the wedding. We're talking about Cabo. So, babe, do you want to say anything before we dive in?
No, I'm excited to recap the wedding. Obviously, Chad and I have recapped it with each other a good amount of times now, and we've definitely spent a lot of time looking at pictures and videos, but I feel like this will be nice just because I feel like as the weeks go on, we can kind of come back to this and listen to it on our own if we want a little refresh ourselves.
Yeah, we've been putting it off, honestly. I feel like if I did it 2 weeks ago, I'd probably already be crying by now. But we're now almost a month removed, which is crazy. This Saturday will be 3 weeks removed. So time has been flying by. We had to sit down and prep everything and remember everything. So you guys got a good one. All right, well, let's dive in. So we have this all sectioned out. We're going to talk about the details of the wedding. We're going to talk about the days leading up to the wedding. We're going to talk about the day itself. And then we're going to talk about post-wedding as well. All right, so we're going to hammer out the details first. So these are probably the things the questions that you guys have. This would be the frequently asked questions of weddings. So we felt like we just wanted to get this out of the way so that we can get into the actual story part. So destination. Yes, we did a destination wedding. We did it in Cabo. I now want to live in Mexico because I freaking love Cabo. It's definitely expensive, but love Cabo. If I were to do it again, 100% would keep it a destination. This was one of my most favorite parts of the wedding.
Yeah, I agree. I think destination, originally, the idea of destination was ultimately to have more time with family, more time there with each other. But I really now being able to experience, this was the first destination wedding, obviously it was ours, but I've never been to a destination wedding prior to this, so I didn't really know what to expect myself, but I cannot say enough good things about doing your wedding somewhere else, which also allows people to travel and kind of treat themselves to a mini vacation as well. We got to connect with so many friends and family days leading up, days after, which if we had only done, just the wedding and people go and leave, you don't really get as much time with people. So that was just our own personal preference. But honestly, one of my favorite parts of just having the wedding was the fact that it felt like it was multiple days long.
Yeah, 100%. We did it at the Cape. I didn't mention that, the Cape in Cabo. But yeah, it was very aesthetic. If you guys ever get a chance to go to the Cape, it's probably one of the best hotels in Cabo just because of the location. It just faces they call it the arch and all the mountains. Super pretty. Mm-hmm. I can't take any credit. Caitlin found it on Instagram, so yes. I give her all the credit for that one. All right, the next one on our list here is first look. So yes, we did do a first look. We didn't, and we also did private vows as well. So we didn't do public vows, and we did do a first look. Another thing that personally, and I know Caitlin's going to feel the same way, loved this part. If I had to read my vows in front of everybody, I don't know if I would get a word out. So yeah. I'm very happy that we did it privately. It was much more intimate. I cried, and Caitlin both cried as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for me, I'm not a huge fan of public speaking as it is. So I feel like the thought of reading our vows in front of everyone would have been terrifying, and I would have been less focused on reading my vows to Chad and more focused on just being so scared, and I probably would have not even remembered what I was saying. So I feel like doing the private vows was nice just because it also gave us time to connect, which we'll talk more about prior to the ceremony as well, which was really, really nice.
Yep. The next detail that people ask is, did you have bridesmaids and do you have groomsmen? And the answer was no. We'll talk about this in our tips section. We have tips for if you're getting married at the end of this. But we wanted to make this about us. So if we felt like if we had bridesmaids and groomsmen, that it would have been about them. There would have been a lot more chaos, potentially even some drama, which our wedding was drama-free, which I was very happy about. So that was our big reasoning for just keeping it Cait and I.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, too, our closest friends know who they are, our family, they're all going to be at the wedding regardless. So to kind of state why we decided against it wasn't only just because we wanted the focus to be on just us, but it's we also wanted those people who are most special to us to also just enjoy the day, enjoy the week, and like not have to think about like wearing something very specific or coming and doing all these photos or, you know, just all the things that kind of go into it. So we were like, how can we make this the most relaxed for not only us, but for the people also coming, which I think, like, I don't know, that's just us. But I loved the fact that it was just Chad and I, honestly.
I just imagined having bridesmaids and groomsmen going to the beach pictures after we actually got married.
No. It just made it also more like intimate because we were doing like all these cute photos and stuff, and I feel like you only get to do that with your partner once, and I just feel like it's different when you're doing photos like that around other people. You don't feel as comfortable, and so the fact that it was like just Chad and I, like that was such a special moment in itself, was like even just capturing those photos together. So yeah, big fans.
100%. All right, the next one on our list is, did you do your own makeup? I didn't do any makeup, so I will let Caitlin talk about this.
Yes, I chose to do my own makeup because I feel like I'm just very particular on how I like my makeup personally. I also feel like I'm someone who, I've been doing my own makeup for literally since I was probably 14. Like, I'm very comfortable doing my makeup. I know how I like it. I'm comfortable testing out new things. So I kind of wanted to just feel like myself but elevated for the wedding, and I had done bridal makeup once prior to kind of like test it out, and honestly like I was pretty set on having someone do my makeup, and then as I kind of looked back on pictures from that trial, I was like, it didn't really feel like me. It felt like very much like a little overdone, and I just wanted to like be on my wedding day in Cabo feeling just like me and just a little bit more, like I said, like elevated. So that's why I chose to do it myself. And I just kind of felt like it was more relaxed for me to just like, I did have my hair done, but that morning, like I'm just chilling, having coffee, doing my makeup. Like some friends are coming up, my mom's coming up, and it was just way more relaxed. And yeah, some people like getting their makeup done and, you know, they want to be like pampered and not have to worry about that, especially if you're someone who doesn't do makeup often. Like I totally get wanting to have someone do it for you because maybe you're not comfortable doing this by yourself. But honestly, I loved it, and the makeup stayed good like all day. I touched up like one time when I went to do my dress change, and that was pretty much it. So maybe I'll do like a tutorial or something on exactly how I did my wedding makeup.
What makeup do you even need though?
Thanks, baby.
She looked very, very gorgeous. It was, as you say, it elevated. You were definitely very elevated. That was the word that you used. All right. The next one that we had in terms of like ironing out the details, and we'll probably move a little bit quicker on this because we got a lot to say and we're already almost 10 minutes in, was music. So we did decide to go a very different route on music. Caitlin and I were very against like to the window, to the wall, like being our music.
We're not big throwback. We're not big throwback people. Like, if I don't get in the car and think about any of these songs. And quite honestly, like, I don't listen to like the radio. I don't even know what like songs are out nowadays. So I feel like, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like, yeah, we both listened to EDM, and
I was singing.
For us, it was just kind of one of those things where we were like, at our wedding, like, what kind of music do we want to listen to? Because
not Little John.
We don't want to listen to like to the window, to the wall, but
Little
like
John.
We also don't want to be doing like the Cotton Eye Joe. We don't want to be doing any of these, like, you know what I mean? And if that's your thing, we're not shit talking.
We're shit talking you.
We don't personally like that stuff, so we didn't have it.
Yeah, I mean, banged the table there. Shout out Nick Homadia, iconic. He threw down, and James Manley threw down as well. Those were our two DJs, and they crushed it. Everybody was loving it. Even Caitlin's mom and dad were dancing. My mom and dad danced for one song. It was comical and awesome at the same time. Okay, we'll go through this one really quickly. Common question: how many people did you have? We had 75, which I didn't know is actually a small number, but we found that out. For destination, we were pretty happy with that number.
Yeah.
And then the layout would be the last detail we wanted to iron out. It was a 2-day event, so Friday was cocktail hour in the evening, which was tons of fun. My brother got really drunk, which we weren't happy about. Shout out Justin. And then the second day, Saturday, was the wedding day. So that was the layout of the event. All right. Now we're going to get into the actual story. So next section we got is the days leading up. So this is going to be Wednesday to Friday. All right, so we're going to start with the travel day. Caitlin wanted to put this one in here because she said a lot of people have questions about traveling with a wedding dress. So I'll let Caitlin start.
Yeah, so I got a few questions just obviously with destination, like how do you get your dress there? Like what should I do? Should I keep it with me? Should I stow it away? And my biggest piece of advice is keep anything that you absolutely need for your wedding with you. Like, God forbid the airline loses your very important luggage and all your stuff is there. Well, you're going to need to then buy a wedding dress at the hotel. Like, clearly you want to keep these things with you. So what I did is, thankfully my parents also flew with us to Cabo. So it was really great to have like a helping hand. My mom, my dad, and obviously Chad and my dad had their tuxes. My mom had her dress, but because there was more of us, there's more hands to hold things. So I had my wedding dress just in the sleeve that they give you to take the wedding dress.
I did not see it.
Yes, Chad did not see it prior.
It fell out multiple times though.
Yeah, we had to keep like adjusting it because it was falling off the little like hanger that was in the sleeve. But basically, I had the dress in a sleeve, I had the veil in a sleeve, and I kept those two things with me the whole travel day. And then I also had a carry-on luggage. And then also a stowaway luggage. The carry-on luggage was like, these are the things I need, like all my makeup, skincare, heels, jewelry that were going with the outfits, like anything that I was like, these are the things that if they lose everything else, these are the only things that I need for the actual events themselves. So keep all your important stuff with you. And most airlines are really kind about traveling with a dress, because we had also had to travel with the dress from New York to Austin to get it here, then from Austin to Cabo to get the dress to Cabo. So I had already done it once before the actual wedding, so that was like a nice practice round. But most airlines will either hang it for you in a front closet. If the front closet is full, they usually suggest that you just like lay it flat over the luggage above your head. So I just made sure to keep the dress with me the whole time, and it was perfectly fine.
Yeah, and my suits were super easy. I got them. Where'd I get them from? Suit Supply.
Suit Supply, yeah.
They give you like little luggage things that you can carry on. So yeah, I was actually pretty impressed. We didn't bring that many bags on. I thought Caitlin was gonna bring like 4 or 5 different bags, but I think
I had 2, one carry-on and one large item of luggage.
Yeah, we did pretty good. In terms of the travel day, obviously not a lot of details there. Typical travel day. We got in early. We got to spend the afternoon with my family and Caitlin's family. We shared cocktails. We shared laughs. We had food. That evening was pretty magical. We had a great sunset. But yeah, pretty standard travel day. The next day that we're going to talk about, though, was epic. Actually quoted by my dad and Caitlin's dad as the best day of their life. So,
minus their own weddings, I'm sure, and like the days of like their children's births.
They said it. They said best day of my life. Yeah. So, yep, that is quoted. But yeah, Caitlin, can I tell them?
I basically had contacted the hotel, and we were thinking of like a way that we could have some extra time with like our immediate family before more friends and family were coming to the hotel. So basically, I had messaged the hotel asking like, hey, do you guys have any suggestions on like boats or experiences? Because we're looking to do something family oriented on Thursday before more people start getting in Thursday, Friday. So they had sent me over a recommendation of this boat, and it was amazing. Like, they served food, they served drinks. And so once I saw like what could be accessible on that boat, I was like, we are definitely
I'm just going to be direct.
This.
You guys know I'm direct. It was $1 million yacht. It was freaking epic. Like, yes, we splurged. It was a beautiful yacht.
It was beautiful. So it wasn't $1 million to rent the boat, but it was a nice boat.
If you were to buy the boat, they told us it was $1 million.
Anyway, yeah, so the boat was amazing, and obviously the goal was just to connect with family, have amazing food, see the views. The boat took us out to the arches where we were able to kind of like post up. They docked us. They had paddle boards on the boat, one of those little like lily pad things that you can kind of chill out on the back. They made us like shrimp tacos, chicken tacos, the open bar, like margaritas, any drinks that you could possibly want. Literally the
open
whole
bar
time.
was dangerous.
They made us bagels with like salmon and cream cheese, and then they made us
Tacos.
like egg burritos. It was just like fruit food like the whole time. It was incredible. So
we saw 2 turtles having sex too.
yep, we
Just
saw
throwing it in there.
some Animal Planet type stuff going on out in the ocean. Chad's father got stung by a jellyfish.
Yep. Twice.
He still lives to tell the tale. But yeah, besides that, the boat was like everything you could ever imagine. Like, I've never seen my family and Chad's family all just like act like kids. Like, it literally made it was just the most special experience to see like our dads like jumping off the top of the boat and like swimming on the lily pad.
My dad, not your dad.
Yeah, well, just swimming around in the water, just like acting like kids, and they were just so happy. And so that day was really special for us because it's like, how often do you get to do something like that with literally like both your families, each other, and just spend countless hours on this boat in the middle of Cabo with like the most amazing views. It was so incredible.
Yeah, it's a day that we'll remember forever. Obviously, our parents will remember it forever. But yeah, it was epic. We even did a little bit of snorkeling. I'm terrified of sharks. Like, if you look at my TikTok feed, it's all just about sharks and shark attacks. And like, I'm very intrigued by sharks, but also very terrified. I can confirm no sharks were seen and no attacks happened. But yeah, boat day was
thank God.
Boat day was absolutely epic. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to say about the boat other than I loved it.
Yeah, I definitely have become someone who's like, man, I would love to spend more time on boats. Like, it was just so fun being able to like lay out, eat, chill, but also just like get into the water when you wanted to. We like had the paddleboard, so we were also able to like paddleboard over to this like little private beach area and like get off and walk around. That was also super cool. So it was just like a very unlike any other boat experience we've ever had. So yeah, if you're in Cabo and you have the opportunity to go out on the water, whether that's fishing, whether that's like a sunset sail, whatever it is, like definitely go do it. See the arches, see the rock for me. Like, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it was great. I think the best part about it, obviously, we've talked about the different experiences, but like Caitlin said earlier, like watching our families enjoy it and watching them interact was very rewarding.
It was very wholesome.
That was probably my favorite part. All right, so now we're getting closer to the big day. All right, we're going to talk about Friday. So nerves are setting in. Caitlin and I are both...
I felt fine.
No, she was nervous too. I wasn't nervous to get married, but I was nervous for...
The vows.
Yes, I was nervous for the vows, but that wasn't what was coming to my mind. I was nervous mostly for the dance.
Which honestly ended up being one of our favorite parts.
Yes, and I had to give a talk, which ended up not happening, and I was nervous for that talk as well. But yeah, once I did the vows, all the nerves went away. We'll get into that later on, though. So Friday was another epic day. Part of the reason why we love Destination is if you come in early prior to your wedding, it does kind of ease the nerves because you're hanging out with friends, you're seeing all the people, you get time with them. It's not just like traditional weddings where you go in, you barely see anybody, everything's rushed, and then it's over. Yeah. So yeah, Friday was another epic day. I woke up, went fishing with my dad and my brother, or my 2 other brothers, and yeah, I mean, it was awesome. We caught a ton of fish. My one brother caught a fish that was like 4 feet long. It was like almost as big as him. It was crazy. We brought back some mahi-mahi. They were able to convert those into tacos. Cook those into tacos at the actual resort, which was great as well. But yeah, Friday was fishing, and then we just chilled, honestly. I don't know. What did you do on Friday? I didn't see you a lot.
I think I went to breakfast with Sarah and Emily, and I did like a quick workout. There was like a few sprinkles of workouts throughout this trip, but nothing crazy. I remember I woke up, maybe it was after, well, actually no, was that Thursday? I don't remember. All I know is that there was a period of time, I think it was like 9 a.m., where I was literally just sitting in like a cabana by the pool having an espresso martini, and I was like, it's 9 a.m., but this is fine here. So yeah, I think I just had like a chill Friday, and like Chad said, we had the kitchen make those tacos, which were really, really good. And then we had the cocktail hour on Friday night, which was also super fun. All of our guests were like basically told to like go to this one set area where we had like cocktail tables, like specialty drinks that they were making.
Specialty drinks.
Yeah, the specialty drinks. Apparently,
mine won. So we had 2. Caitlin was able to choose one. I was able to choose one on Friday night, and then there were 2 other Chad and Caitlin specialty drinks on Saturday night. Friday night, mine blew Caitlin out of the water.
Apparently, mine was not the favorite, which
What was mine? It was a mango margarita, right?
Yours was the mango margarita, yeah.
And yours was the cucumber? Yeah.
No, the cucumber one was on Saturday. Mine was like a hibiscus.
Yeah, hibiscus.
Like red one for Friday, which
Yours
apparently like was very strong. So people were saying that they were avoiding it because it was like really dangerously strong, which I didn't know.
It's probably what happened to my brother. We can tell every wedding needs a drunk story, so we'll tell that one here in a minute. Unless you want me to just go for it.
Oh,
I guess we have a couple of drunk stories. We have Martin as well. But yeah, I will confirm I probably had a drink 14 days in a row, so I'm not proud of it.
It really like. I feel like for the drinking though, and I mean, I'm not a big drinker. It's obviously like for us when we're on vacation, like I could have a drink easily every day, but I'm not someone who could do the whole like let's have like 6 to 8 drinks every. Like I actually would not be.
It was casual.
A human, yeah. I think like collectively, the drinking was honestly still really minimal for me.
I maintained a buzz. I never got too sloppy. I never got drunk. That was one of the things that Caitlin and I said going into this is that we weren't going to get drunk.
Which like we never really do anyway. But
yeah, it was just going to be a tipsy event. But yeah, I guess we'll tell the 2 drunk stories now to spice things up. We'll tell Martin's first. So we don't know the whole story because we weren't there, but they went into downtown Cabo. They drank a ton, and our friend Martin ran into the beach, ran into the water, ran to the ocean, and stepped on a sea urchin. So he had to get emergency surgery because sea urchins have poison in their spikes or whatever it's called. And yeah, he was put under Novocaine, and they ripped out the.
Well, he didn't have to get put under Novocaine. They injected anesthesia into his foot.
Locally, yep.
Yeah.
They yanked out the what are they called? Spikes or whatever?
Spikes, yeah.
Yeah, so basically, if you go to Cabo, they say you can't swim in the water because there's tons of sea urchins.
Depending on the beach, though. Like, there's certain areas you can, yeah.
Rip current is super strong as well, so we actually didn't do any swimming. And then my brother, he's 18. He definitely was a little bit egotistical. I was like, all right, you got to slow down, bro. He's like, I'm good, I'm fine. And he kept going, and then the next thing I know, I'm like, where's Justin? Oh, he's back in his room. And then we went back to the room, and he's head over the toilet bowl. Definitely not a proud older brother moment. And my middle brother ended up sleeping in the room, and he slept in the shower. So he learned his lesson for sure.
Yep.
But that was our Friday. Mostly really amazing.
Oh, wait. One really cool part about Friday was that, so basically with the wedding planning, for weddings at the hotel, you're offered to add like a firework package.
Oh, yeah, this is a good one.
We actually did not add the firework package because it was overpriced for like a minute of fireworks. It was just something very stupid. So during cocktail hour on Friday, we're like all like hanging out, and all of a sudden, like, because there was another wedding upstairs, tons of fireworks start going off like over the water, and everyone's like freaking out, like, oh my gosh, let's take pictures. And so like Chad and I got these really cool firework pictures that like,
let's see if I can pull it up.
We didn't have to pay for them or anything, which was great. And everyone was like, oh my god, is this for your cocktail hour? And we were like,
we should have just said yes.
We should have said yes.
We're too honest.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool. It was just like an additional like awesome little thing that kind of happened on Friday.
This is YouTube will be able to see it.
Yeah.
But that was a picture that
like not planned at all, but it was so cool, and we were just like, well, thank you people upstairs for having your wedding and spending the money on the fireworks.
Yeah. One other thing I forgot to mention about Friday is how freaking hot it is in Cabo. So we live in Austin, Texas, and it's like 105 here. But it's a different heat. It was like only 85 down there.
So
but,
hot. Oh my God.
The humidity is crazy.
Yeah.
I sweat through. So I wore a tan jacket on Friday night, and I sweat through the whole entire thing. And that's like unheard of, to like sweat through your jacket. So yeah, it was very, very hot. But nonetheless, it was amazing. So we're transitioning. The big day. All right, I'll kick us off here. So we were staying in one room, and then for
we didn't do the whole like stay in separate rooms thing. I know that's like common with weddings, which I understand, but
cut me off.
Sorry.
You cut me off. You can finish.
That's okay. Just keep going.
Okay. So we were staying in one room. That wasn't even actually what I was going to say.
Oh,
but
okay, I'll finish after.
You got ahead. We were staying in one room. We transitioned on Friday. So basically we stayed in one room up until Friday. Then Friday, Saturday, we stayed in this like corner what do they call it? Like corner suite?
Like a corner suite, yeah. Just had a really nice view and
yeah. So
basically,
yeah, we wanted this beautiful room for the 2 days. It was also more advantageous for her to get ready, and also more advantageous for the pictures as well. But yeah, you can finish what you were gonna say because it'll make more sense.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think like, and we're gonna talk about this when it comes to just like doing what you want to do for your wedding and like making it very you, but like Chad and I obviously live together. We wake up together every single day. We sleep in the same bed every single night. We're also doing a destination wedding where we are clearly staying in the same room. Now, could we have gone in separate rooms for the night leading up to the wedding? Sure. But we also like wanted to wake up together and be like, holy shit, it's our wedding day, and like have breakfast together. And I also think it's a little different because maybe if you're someone who's not doing like a first look and you're like really waiting to till the ceremony to see your partner, I could understand maybe not wanting to wake up that morning together and just like really have it be like a serious surprise. But I think because we knew we were also doing a first look, we wanted to just like go into it a little bit more relaxed, kind of have just like a regular morning together and like set intentions, finish our vows, and it just
our vows. Yeah, we did finish the vows on the wedding day.
We finished our vows on the wedding day, which honestly I'm
happy I did too.
I'm really happy that we did that because I was someone who's like, shit, I should write my vows, and it was just like 6 months ago. And then I was thinking like, there's been things that have happened even over the 6 months that like, you know, I wouldn't have been able to even like really talk about in the vows. So I'm kind of glad that I waited to finish them that day because there's like little things that I was like thinking in those moments too of being in wedding day that I wouldn't have been able to write in there. So I actually really enjoyed finishing the vows. Like literally we had breakfast together, finished our vows, like sitting next to each other.
You're in the moment too, right? Like I started my vows. It
felt like more magical, yeah.
Yeah, I started my vows the week of the wedding, which Caitlin's parents kind of got on me a little bit. Caitlin would like nudge me. You were never actually mad about it though. But now in hindsight, I'm happy I did it that week because you're in the moment of like love, right? Like that is your week of love. So you're at like your peak of love. So I feel like writing it in that moment was the best time, if any.
Yeah. So we kind of like woke up, had a really chill morning.
Real quick, Mila is being so good.
I know she is.
She's just sleeping on the couch next to us. But yeah, so we moved into that suite, which had an awesome view. We woke up that morning. We went on the balcony. We ordered breakfast. We finished our vows, which we talked about. I got a workout in. Caitlin attempted to do a workout. I think you walked out. I don't even know where you went.
Yeah, I just was like, this is not happening.
Yeah, you're like, no, thank you. And then I left for my parents' room. And honestly, this is where the nerves were at like an all-time high. I was like, I was in my parents' room and I wasn't really talking. And my parents were like, okay, we're gonna go downstairs now. And they left me in there alone. I ordered room service. I like couldn't even eat the sandwich because I was nervous. And parents came back upstairs. They helped me get ready, and then I was just pacing. I was like pacing back and forth in the room. I wasn't really talking, so I definitely nerves were at an all-time high there.
Yeah.
It became really real when the our what do you call it? Not camera crew, right?
Photographer?
When our camera crew, Jesus. When our photographer came in and videographer came in and they started taking shoots and videos, and I was like, oh shit, like this is getting real. This is about to happen. And then you could tell them your experience up until that point.
I started feeling, I felt like I had almost like a little bit of distraction because I had my girl Nancy, who does my hair here in Austin. She flew out to Cabo.
Yeah, you guys are having a party. Sarah was in there. Emma was in there.
So I kind of like had, the energy was just different because I was like super excited, but I wasn't feeling the nerves as much because I was distracted just like talking with friends.
I'm alone in a dark room.
My mom was up there with me, like, and so I think basically after I had done hair and makeup, our videographer had come in and he was like, okay, I'm gonna have you read your vows for like a voiceover, like part of the video for later. And
you guys took forever. I was sitting in that room for so long alone.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh shit. So I'm like, okay, first off, like I cannot read these with like people in the room. So I made Nancy, Sarah, Emily, and my mom like all go outside on the balcony, and I like had to read the vows to our videographer like by myself. And then our photographer, Lindsay, his wife was also there. So it's just us three in the room. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the first time I'm saying these vows out loud. Like I've not practiced them or anything. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's when I started getting really nervous. Cause I was like, nervous to say them to a camera, but I was like, oh my gosh, I have to read these to Chad. And
You know, they asked me to do the same thing, to read the vows in there.
But you did it after the first
I know,
look,
because
so that probably was even
my
better.
parents were in there, and I was like, oh, we could just do it later.
Yeah.
And that's when I actually...
Oh, I just told everyone to leave. So I filmed the vows, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, this is getting so real. So you must be still like chilling, doing your thing, and then
Not chilling. I'm
time's
pacing.
ticking. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I finish hair and makeup. I get the dress on, which was honestly like one of the most special moments. Like having my mom be there with me to like help put the dress on with me, take pictures together. It was just really cute. So then Sarah, Emily, and Nancy, they all go off and do their thing. And then Lindsay takes me down to go find my dad, which I was already nervous at that point because I'm like, oh my gosh, it was just a special moment to like go see my dad before Chad. And then I knew after I saw my dad, I was going to see Chad after that. So then now I'm like, whoa, like I'm starting to get hot. I'm sweating. I mean, it was already hot out, but I'm like, the nerves really set in because you cannot prepare for that kind of feeling when you think like, oh, I'm going to be fine. Like, it's my fiance. We live together. This is my person. We're in love. Like, I've never felt like nervous or anything in front of them. And then when you go to do your first look, it literally feels like you're about to like re-meet your person for the first time. Like, it was the craziest feeling. I'm like hiding in a bush, like waiting for Chad. Lindsay's like, all right, we're gonna go get Chad. And I'm like, oh my God, why am I so scared? Like, I just saw him this morning, but now all of a sudden I'm like really frightened. And in a good way, of course. But Lindsay went to get Chad, and I'm like hiding out behind this little like wall, like waiting to go find
the
him.
pool cabanas.
And then I'm like peering out over the little wall, like to see like if I can see anything. And I shit you not, as soon as I see Chad, I literally got like instant butterflies. Like, this sounds so corny, but like my stomach was like, oh my God, there he is. Like, as if you, like it was the first time I was seeing you again. So I see Chad, I'm like, oh shit, let me take cover. I take cover. Then Lindsay's like, all right, we're gonna go, like, you're gonna go tap him on the shoulder now. And I was like,
well,
okay.
They turn me around. So they bring me down. They turn me around.
They like positioned Chad so he was like facing the other way. So I'm like behind him.
They did a good job because they were like, all right, we're going to take some pictures at this angle. So they were like playing it off like I had to turn around because that was the position for a picture.
Yeah.
But then Caitlin comes around, taps me on the shoulder.
Oh my God, I was so nervous. So I tapped him on the shoulder. We had our little moment. Like, he's like looking at the dress, he's looking at me, and it's so funny because obviously like he didn't know what the dress looked like up until that moment, and I would always ask him like, babe, what do you think the dress looks like describe it to me. And we like later
I was far off.
We later talked about like the thoughts of the
I had
dress
some parts
and everything.
right, actually,
but yeah, so we did our first look.
Dress was amazing. Yes, I had some parts right.
Chad looked very handsome as per usual, but
yes.
Yeah, it was like a moment you literally can't put into words. Like, you're literally so nervous in the best way and was so excited in the best way. And then when that moment comes, it's like the moment you anticipate for so long. Like, you just can't explain it unless you're literally in that moment. But I feel like I blacked out. Like, I couldn't hear anything besides just like what we were doing. Like, everything felt like we were just in like a vortex. So we get up, we say a few things to each other, and then we're like, all right, well, who wants to say the vows first? And I'm like, fuck it, I need to do this. I was like, I need to get this out of the way.
I'm supposed to be the leader of the household, and she jumped the gun here.
No, I literally was like, I am doing this, because I knew if I went after, I'd be like, I would just be anticipating the wait the whole time. So I said mine. I made it through about 2 sentences before I started blubbering like a little baby.
What was, we don't have to tell them all of her, but what was like the premise of yours? Like the long story short of yours.
Of my vows?
Yeah.
I feel like it was a combination of just like our history and how we got here, and just how like I used to wonder what this day would always be like as a kid, and being in that day is like, you know, because I also wrote the vows, like finished them that day, I could actually talk more about what I was actually feeling, which I thought was kind of cool. But I would say like, yeah, it was kind of like the path of our relationship, how it's brought us here, what we were experiencing, how I was feeling, like just all the things. I mean, I can't really say much more than that without reading them. But yep, I read mine, and then Chad went after me. So Chad, do you want to take over?
Yeah, so my experience, Caitlin, I think when you didn't cry reading yours, I think you cried when you
No, I definitely cried reading mine.
Okay.
Because I remember taking like pauses.
Okay, all right, so you did. Yeah, I feel like I definitely cried a lot reading mine. I felt like I did. I felt like there was moments where I couldn't like get the words out because I was holding tears back or tears were coming out. But yeah, mine, like, long story short, was about fate. Like, I tried to make mine a story about fate and how our whole relationship. I know we did like a whole backstory in the previous podcast. But if you listen to that podcast, you notice that we would always find our way back to each other. So I wanted to make that the moral of my story was fate as the premise. I think it was when we were reading mine. It was like positioned. We were reading the vows right next to the pool, so it was like cabana. It wasn't like right next to the pool. It was like a little bit of backwoods.
It was like a sidewalk behind the pool.
Sidewalk. There was some woods, so it was kind of like wooded area, and then there was cabanas, and then there was a pool, but there was a walkway, and some lady from the pool comes and walks like right in between us as like I'm reading the vows, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and then
I don't know if she knew what we were doing, but then again, like, I'm in a wedding dress, so
yeah, We're just saying it was
just funny.
It was comical. That was all.
But yeah, we did the vows, and then honestly, the best part of doing the vows was that we got to like say our vows to each other, and then after that, we took a lot of pictures. We went back up to the room.
Yeah, we had like 2-3 hours to kill.
Yeah, I was able to like freshen up, like reapply a little makeup. My girl Nancy,
stop sweating.
We had my hair down for the first look. Because we were like, oh yeah, we want to do like a down look. And then after being out in the heat for about an hour, I was like, this thing is going up in a bun. So Nancy put my hair into like a slick back bun, which I cannot recommend enough. If you are a bride getting married in a hot climate outside, specifically in the summer, updo. So happy that I did that. And honestly, looking at the bridal photo or the wedding photos that we've gotten back so far, I feel like I looked more bridal with the slick back bun. Like, it was
I liked it way better.
It's just like different than what I usually do. Like, I could easily wear my hair down straight, curl it, but like the slick back bun, like she was sleek.
Yeah. I like your hair up a lot.
So I loved the bun. Like, I'm so happy that we did that. And yeah, so after that, we went back up to the room, freshened up. Nancy put my hair up. I touched up makeup. My parents came up. We hung out.
You ate 2 sushi rolls?
Well, so we went downstairs really quick because I don't remember why. We like went downstairs to we did family photos.
Yeah, family photos.
So we also did family photos with like my mom, dad, brother, his girlfriend Corinna, Nick, Justin, your parents, his girlfriend. Like, we all did family photos, which was also nice getting that out of the way. Not out of the way, but before ceremony, so that afterwards we had more time to hang out with people. So that was also another perk of doing first look, is we batched out so many pictures before the ceremony. So then after ceremony, it was again just focusing on getting more pictures of just us, and our families could go enjoy themselves.
Yeah. But also so that we can enjoy ourselves.
And so that we can enjoy ourselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, once we got to the room, about an hour before we were about to walk down the aisle, I was like, I haven't had anything to eat since breakfast. Like, genuinely not anything. And I wouldn't have had anything to eat at that point till dinner. And I knew that wasn't going to happen for another like 3 hours. So, in very Caitlin fashion, I get 2 spicy tuna rolls, and Chad is like going down to like start lining up to like get prepared for ceremony. Meanwhile, I'm like inhaling these sushi rolls, and my dad's like about to walk down with me because we have to get in line.
What did you wash them down with? You washed them down with something.
I had a Gatorade. I had a Gatorade and sushi before I walked down the aisle, and it was unreal. I'm so happy that I did that. However,
you were like burping.
However, once my dad and I got downstairs, before we were about to walk down the aisle, like, Chad's already like on his way down. I'm like burping up the sushi, and my dad's like, are you okay? Like, are you gonna, like, do we need to get you like a diet soda? Like, we're about to go down the aisle. Like, are you gonna throw up out there?
That would have been awesome.
So yeah, didn't throw up. However, unsure that the Gatorade and the sushi was the best combination prior to walking down the aisle. Also, did my breath smell when you kissed me?
I didn't smell shit.
Okay.
I don't think I had any senses. The only sense I had was I felt like I heard a lot.
Yeah.
And see. But okay, let's go. We're already almost 40 minutes in.
Jeez, man.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about walking down the aisle and ceremony itself. So this is obviously a very important moment. So, you're shaking it. Walking down the aisle. I was nervous. Yeah, I had to go by myself. I think I went behind Emily. So Emily
Yeah.
Duncan did what is it called?
She was our officiant.
Officiant. Yeah. So Emily went first. I followed her. Gave out a couple of fist bumps. Got to the.
You gave out fist bumps?
I did give up a couple of fist bumps.
Wow.
Yeah. And yeah, I think I was just smiling the whole time. Yeah, doing a couple of fist bumps. Got up there. And then so I was a little nervous because I've already seen Caitlin, and I know people in the crowd are like, "Oh my God, is he gonna cry?" Like that's like a big thing. Like, is the groom gonna cry when the bride walks down the stairs? But I've already seen Caitlin. I've already done all the crying at this point, so I definitely had a huge smile, and I was like full of butterflies and extremely happy. And she looked beautiful and gorgeous, and my father-in-law was walking her down, and yeah, it was definitely emotional. But I did not. Cry.
Blubber like a baby?
I did not blubber like a baby. That was before.
Yeah, we got all of our blubbering out before then, which was great. I think it, like, for us, we were able to like enjoy the ceremony more, and it felt more like a celebration versus like all these nerves of walking down the aisle and not have seen each other. I mean, I can totally understand why that moment would be super special, but yeah,
Cool.
I loved the first look, and I loved being able to like walk down the aisle just like smiling and grinning, because it was like we felt like, oh my gosh, like this sense of relief that we didn't have to like read the vows in front of everyone and do all these things, and just be able to like stand up there, hold hands, do the thing, and then go and
at
celebrate.
This point there's no nerves. We were not nervous at this point.
Yeah.
You guys walked a little fast.
Yeah, so that was one tip I was going to say. One tip that I would recommend, and it's so hard to remind yourself of this when you're doing it, because when you're doing it, you're like, oh, I just got to get up there. But you walk slow, because one, like my dad and I were in like a full-blown sprint. Like looking back at videos, I'm like, shit, we should have definitely
Does the groom walk slow too?
I think
walk.
I mean,
like
when
moderate.
you're walking with people, you're like pacing it with like the pace of the people in front of you. But like, because it was just my dad and I, obviously we had to walk downstairs, and then also like our ceremony space wasn't like a super long walkway, so like I wouldn't have been able to go like, it wouldn't have taken much longer whether I went super slow or super fast. It was a pretty short walkway.
But that's a known thing that you're supposed to walk slow. Is it a known thing that I'm supposed to walk slow?
I think it's just, yeah, you want to like soak the moment in a little bit more. And honestly, I think because my dad and I had to go down the stairs, it felt a little bit longer, because I was like, oh shit, we're going down these stairs. But yeah, I would say like just take your time walking down the aisle, because I mean, ideally you only get to do it once, and you want to look back and be like, man, I really soaked that moment in. And I feel like I still was able to like look at certain people and remember that moment of walking down and like looking at Chad and like looking at Emily and just smiling and being super happy. But like, yeah, if I could go back, I would just walk a little slower.
Yeah, I did look at, that's actually a good point. I did look at the crowd a few times. I think I smiled at my parents. That is something that, in hindsight, I wish I turned like fully to the crowd and like really like waved to somebody.
We did turn to the crowd once when Emily, our officiant and our best friend, she was like, okay, guys, like part of her script, she was saying like, turn around and look at the crowd, like all these people are here to support you. And so we did take a moment to like look out into the crowd, which I know can probably be a little scary standing up there, but it was so amazing, because it's like, when do you get to just like look at all of your favorite people who are all staring at you, just smiling and crying? Like, it's not gonna happen, you know? Like, and so I feel like that moment was really cool, because I was like, holy shit, like this is our wedding. Like everyone's here smiling at us. Like it was just a really wild experience.
Yeah. So yeah, at this point, Emily's talk was like 15, 20 minutes. So Caitlin and I were holding hands. We're looking back between Emily and ourselves. Obviously, we're smiling, like we're feeling all the emotions. Like this is probably the most present you'll ever be in your life.
You literally are not thinking about anything else. Like you're not even thinking like, oh, am I gonna fuck up? Or like you're literally just like, I am getting married right now. Like it's so wild.
You're so present.
You're so present.
Emily did a phenomenal job. So if she listens to this,
yes, Emily absolutely crushed it. Like,
did a phenomenal job. I think we did actually both cry up there. So Emily started talking, and I forget what she said, and then Caitlin started crying, and then I started crying. I think she was talking about how amazing of a friend you are to her, and then that's when I started crying up there, because I saw you crying. But yeah, I don't know. I want to talk about how fast I said I do.
Oh yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say before I share that story?
You can share that first.
Okay. So yeah, so we're getting to the part where, like I said, we already did private vows, so we just had to share like a few sentences that Emily scripted out for us, and Emily starts saying the sentence, and I thought, oh yeah, I thought she finished, and it was my turn to say I do, but apparently I had a lack of judgment because she was like halfway through her sentence, and I just go, I do. And I did.
She was basically asking him, like, do you, Chad, and then let's just say she was like, do you, Chad, take Caitlin to blah, 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 blah. She was like, do you, Chad? And Chad's just like, I do. Like, there was, like, she did not finish the sentence, and I'm just dying laughing because it was so Chad.
I think I did it twice. And then she goes, like, we have a very eager groom here today.
Yeah.
And
well, that was one thing, was you wanting to, like, say I do as fast as possible. But then also, I grabbed the wrong hand as I'm, like, about to put Chad's ring on. So, grabbed the wrong hand, realized very quickly that, like, obviously his left hand was actually his right hand, and I had to grab the other hand, that was his left hand. Then when I grabbed his hand to put the ring on, his fingers were so swollen from being out in the heat and probably all the drinking and the food, so I couldn't, like, get the ring
fits,
on right
I promise.
away. But yeah, besides that, those were the only little things. But they're, like, so funny. Like, we don't look back and be like, oh my god, that was so embarrassing. Like, I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, it was great. So we walked off to Best Friend by Queen, which, if you know that song, it's just like a fun, lighthearted walk-off song. My grandma pelted me with confetti.
Yeah.
We did stop though in the middle. That was actually a tip that we were given by our photographer, was to stop in the middle while you're walking down.
Don't just like run off. Like I ran down the aisle, but walking off of the aisle or out of the aisle, whatever you want to call it, we took our time.
Gave Caitlin a little tug to like remind her, and then we kissed in the middle, and then we walked off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Recommend.
So we're gonna keep cranking here. Might reach a full hour, so hopefully you guys are enjoying this. But all right, so yeah, now it starts to get really hot. So we're done with the ceremony. Everybody goes upstairs. They're enjoying cocktails on our dime, and now we have to walk like literally a quarter mile in a beach that's like elevated like this, in her wedding dress and my suit. To get to this one location, beautiful location, like rocks, like the waves, the Cabo background, the sun setting, to do pictures. So the walk there was pretty treacherous, but 110% worth it for the pictures that eventually you guys will see on the gram.
Yeah. Yeah, the beach photos were, like, we haven't even seen all the pictures yet. We're still waiting to get them. But the beach pictures
real quick,
were
Lindsay, we got photos and videography done by, you'll know, their names are Lindsay and Farr. Do you know the name of their company?
I think it's just her Instagram name. But yeah, they're incredible.
Yeah, I want to give them a proper shout out. But yeah, they did a phenomenal job. We got to see some of the teasers. You guys probably saw the teasers as well. But yeah, her Instagram is LINDZYNAVA. And yeah, they did our photography.
Yeah,
and
they were
videography.
amazing. I think with photos too, like, I highly recommend working with a professional who does weddings specifically, because when you are posing for wedding photos, like, it's not like you're just like putting your arm up here and like smiling and with a thumbs up. Like, she was literally directing the whole thing.
Time.
Like, put your hand on her cheek, turn your chin up, twist
You
your
look
hips
amazing.
this way. You look amazing.
So many
Turn
compliments.
your back. Look out into the sun. Like, we would have just been standing there like thumbs, not knowing what to do,
like this.
if we didn't have someone who was like really directing us with like wedding shots. Because like, even with like photographers, like, you could work with a great photographer, but if they've never done weddings before, I feel like you don't really get the same vibe. So highly recommend working with someone who does like bridal, weddings, etc., because it's going to feel a lot more like intimate, the shots specifically, versus like, hey, stand up against this wall and put your hand on your hip. You know, like, we wanted to look back on these photos and be like, holy shit, like, it looks like a movie, you know?
Yeah.
So they did a really amazing job. So that was a very hot experience. We went upstairs to cocktail hour after that, which was, I mean, we had probably like 30 minutes to kind of like chat with everyone.
Which was nice. We actually, traditionally weddings only have a 60-minute cocktail hour. We extended it 30 minutes so we can actually be a part of it.
Yeah.
Another tip, another positive
is if you have the opportunity to extend your cocktail hour, even if it's just 30 minutes, those extra 30 minutes might be the only 30 minutes you get to go to the cocktail hour, and the first hour everyone's just chilling, basically waiting for you.
Yeah.
So
cocktail hour, we were celebrities. We the whole time, can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? There was literally a moment where we were standing there and there was like a line of people waiting to get a picture.
Which I guess is to be expected when like you want pictures of the bride and groom.
I wasn't expecting that.
But I was like, wow, like I've never had this many people ask for
That
pictures.
shocked me. I thought I was just going to be able to walk around, intermingle, hang out. But no, we were celebrities in that moment. Everybody wanted a picture.
So funny.
Which was cool. So other than that, cocktail hour was great. I will give props to Caitlin. Her drink beat me out on the wedding day.
One.
But it was close from what I heard from other people. But yes, her drink beat me out.
Cucumber one was good.
Okay, so now we're transitioning into reception. So reception was beautiful. I will talk.
Well, first, hold on.
I want to talk about the shot wall.
Well, yes, the shot wall, but also like we got to see the reception area before anyone else.
Yes, we got to see it naked.
Yeah. Well, with no one in it.
Right.
Yeah. We were clothed. But
I was naked.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool because when you're planning a wedding, like we picked out all this stuff back in February.
Yeah.
So we did not we knew that this was going to be amazing based on all the things we picked. But being able to be the first people to like walk over to the other side while everyone else was on cocktail hour and see like the candles and the lights and the tables and the linens and all the things set up, we were like, oh my gosh, that was like one of the most special moments was showcasing like the event space, the reception space before anyone else was in it, and just being like, this was beyond our expectations of what it would look like.
This is a great time to shout out Josiah and his husband Justin as well. So they were our wedding planners.
Which very like important part that we missed in the beginning was the fact that we had a wedding planner. Like that was the details of the wedding. Like they are the reason that the wedding was as amazing as it was, and how relaxed we were going into the wedding.
It was
People
so
were
easy.
like, "You're the most chill bride I've ever met," and I'm like, "Really?" Because I don't feel like I'm missing it. Like I just felt like everything was so seamless. We didn't think about anything. We were obviously heavily involved in like the setup process and picking out what we wanted the actual wedding to look like.
All we had to do was pick shit.
Yeah.
Justin and Josiah, they were just like, choose this, like, what do you want here, what do you want there? Like they coordinated the whole entire thing. It was
so amazing. So yeah, huge shout out to them because genuinely they made everything feel so seamless and so easy and so relaxed that we as bride and groom, like we got to just enjoy the wedding and not be like, oh, I need to go talk to this vendor. I need to go, like, it just was so amazing being able to just like actually be at the wedding and then just have them like, you know, help out with any little additional things that pop up. Like I wouldn't even, if anything popped up, I would not have known.
I think I said it earlier in the podcast, but it was a no drama wedding, and honestly, there was only one hiccup, and it had something to do with audio. But other than that, everything was very seamless. And their company is called Samcoma, which is SAMKOMA. Phenomenal. They do a great job. All right, so we were talking about the transition from cocktail hour to reception. So this actually was an idea brought to us by Josiah to potentially do a shot wall. So what a shot wall is, if you don't know, because I didn't know, was there's a wall and there's a bunch of shot glasses, and then there's like a little thing on the shot glass that has your name on it, and then basically that's how you find your seat. So when you take your shot, you find your seat. And it tells you what table you're on, the little thing in the shot glass. Mm-hmm. So everybody transitioning from cocktail hour into reception had to take a shot of tequila to find out what their seat was.
That was fun.
Yep. So then we sat down. Our table was kind of away from everybody.
We had a sweetheart table.
Yeah, I loved the position of it because we were able to watch everybody, and not in like a creepy way, but it was really, once again, cool. And one of my favorite parts about it, aside from getting married, was the ability to be able to watch like our families have a good time and our families interact. And that was something that that was a conversation at our sweetheart table a lot about.
We were just like looking at everyone being like, oh, look at how cute they are. They're having so much fun. Like, they're all like mingling, eating food, getting drinks. Like, I'm just like, yeah, your wedding is the one day. I mean, maybe there will be other opportunities, but like potentially the one day that you literally see every single important person in your life in one place celebrating you.
Yeah.
That was so cool because I'm like, I don't have a big like extended family like that I'm super close with, and so my side of the family was very much smaller than Chad's side of the family who came to the wedding. But it honestly put so much
My
into
one was real deep. We were like 70% of the wedding.
Yeah, it put so much into perspective for me because I'm like, damn, like even our closest friends, like Chad's family, like Chad's family, my family, our friends, like everyone got to connect like so deeply. Like I didn't even know it would be possible, but it's like people that we didn't think, not that we didn't think would talk, but like people that we were surprised to see talking to each other were like talking to each other that they've never met before. Like Chad's cousins are like from England and they're talking to like our friends from Texas.
And like my staff members and like...
it was so cool to just see everyone like mesh together so well. I'm like, we could not have asked for just like a better group of people in one place, genuinely.
Shout out to everybody that actually like put their hard-earned money into coming out to Cabo to watch us get married as well. So if you're listening to this podcast, thank you. All right, so we're talking about reception. Yeah, so we didn't have long until we had to get into the part that I was most nervous about, which was the dance. So basically how it went was, I think, I don't even know, maybe we sat down for like 5 minutes, and then they're like, all right, dance is time. So Cait and I got up, and
well, we didn't even sit down. We entered by doing our dance.
Correct. Okay, cool. So we walked in and then went right to the dance floor. Yes.
Yep, which was a little scary.
So I guess I'll tell this story. But so for the months leading up to it, I'm super structured. I'm super like, I need a game plan. I also have a knack for wanting to make things like very grandiose. So I bought us dance lessons, and I think we got into maybe like 4 or 5 of the different dance lessons, and we're choreographing this dance, and it would have been a very intense dance. Let me tell you, honestly, I don't think we would have pulled it off if we stuck with it.
Yeah.
Halfway through, Caitlin's like, "Yep, I don't want to do this," and we had our back and forth about it, but ultimately decided, all right, fine, we're not going to do this. We'll just be casual. When we got up there, we basically once again melted into each other. Another moment of extreme, like you're very present. You're not worried about anybody else in the crowd. And, we did our little swaying, we did our little circling, we got a couple twirls in there, got a little bow in there at the end. But, the dance was awesome. We talked the whole time, hugged a bunch, kissed a bunch, and, it was awesome.
Yeah, I kind of went against the dance, choreographed dance route because I am someone who, one, I have ADHD, 100%, and if I am hyper fixated on something, I will not be thinking about the other thing. Chad knows this. So if I'm thinking about like my footwork and how I'm turning my hips and the arms and the movements, all the things, I'm like only thinking about that, and I would not have genuinely been able to enjoy the moment as much as I did by thinking about my footwork and just thinking about like just moving to the music with my husband. You know what I mean? Like that's...
It would have been for... Sorry to interrupt you. You've interrupted me enough,
That's fine.
I'm not that sorry, actually. It would have been, now in hindsight 2020, it would have been something for the crowd, not something for us.
Exactly. So I'm just like, I'm very glad we didn't do the choreographed dance because it was such a moment of pure presence that, again, if we had choreographed the dance, we would have been like, oh shit, like don't fuck this up, like gotta turn, blah, blah, blah. And then before you know it, the dance is over and you didn't even talk at all, or like you didn't even connect at all. So I'm like, looking back, that was such a huge moment of connection for us. And walking off, we were so happy. We were like, that was so much fun. That wasn't as scary
happy
as
it was
thought.
over too.
And, but like, it was just, we wouldn't have, I don't know if I would have walked off feeling the same after that. So I'm glad that we chose to go this route.
Yeah. So it was our first dance, and then we had dinner, and then was the father-daughter dance and the mother-son dance, which were both very emotional. I don't know. Do you want to talk about your father? I
feel like you can't put into words like how special the moment is until you're in the moment. Like, oh my gosh, I almost just cried saying that. But like, you literally just, again, like you just are with your dad, and my dad is like such an important person to me in my own life, and he's a huge reason why I have the life that I do in terms of hard work and work ethic and the way that I show up for myself, the way that I treat people. Like, he's just such a huge role model to me. So having that moment with my dad was really special. And it's like, again, we didn't like choreograph anything. We just went and danced and like hugged and cried and laughed. And like, I can actually remember all the conversations that we had just thinking about it because I wasn't distracted by thinking about anything else. So, I feel like that moment is like, and I'm so glad, like, we filmed all of the dances. Like, I basically just had my phone like propped up on the table. So my dad and our whole dance was filmed. Chad's mom and his whole dance were filmed. Our whole dance was filmed by other people. So,
oh, I forgot. I was mic'd up. So everything I said to my mom was picked up on camera.
Oh, really?
I think I was mic'd up. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So it was really special. What were your thoughts of your mom?
Man, I was nervous for my mom and I to dance as well. We didn't practice at all. You and your dad didn't practice either. So
no, my dad and I picked our song a week before.
Yeah. What song? Just for
Fathers and Daughters, but not the Michael Bolton version, the Boyce something version.
Yeah. Okay, so my mom and I did Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, which apparently was a huge hit. Like, everybody was talking about the song and how good of a choice it was. I mean, it was extremely emotional. My mom cried the whole time. I could tell cute. She was very nervous. Like, she was being very shy. Like she would like look down and like she was just like being very shy. And I felt like the whole time I was like comforting her. I was like, "It's gonna be okay. Like,
it's gonna be okay. We're gonna make it through."
Yeah, well, not even like in a comical way. Like, I feel like I was like it was weird. I felt like I was the father figure in that moment. Like, I don't know. It was special, obviously, but that was an interesting part. But the whole time, it was awesome. Like, we both cried and shared a good moment, and we bowed at the end. I gave her a couple of twirls. And everybody cried apparently when my mom and I were dancing. Apparently it was a big hit. So those are the dances. All right, for y'all's time, we'll pick up the pace a little bit. We'll talk about the speeches, and then we'll get into our 3 tips. But the speeches and then the after party are really the last 2 things. So we'll try to keep this short. Obviously, the speeches were it was one of my favorite parts. I mean, not to sound like completely self-centered and selfish, but like hearing people talk about you in that
like
way,
such a positive way,
and like especially when you don't hear it that often. Like, this is going to be kind of weird, but as an entrepreneur, you don't honestly hear that kind of stuff very often at all. Like, a lot of the time you're saying that stuff to other people,
like your team,
like your team and your clients. So hearing that praise, hearing what people are grateful for, hearing what people think about you. Like I said, not trying to sound self-centered was nice.
Yeah, it was just, again, one of those experiences that's like, when else do you have some of your most special people stand up and talk about you and the person that you are and the impact that you've made on their lives and the impact you've made on other lives. It's just like, there's not a lot of settings that really happens. So I feel like not only do you get to listen to it, but all of your other special people get to listen to it too. Yeah. So that was like a really impactful...
I cried the whole time. I just cried through all the speeches. Yeah.
We cried through all the speeches. I filmed all the speeches. They were all so beautiful. We had my brother, my dad, our best friend Sarah, and Caitlin at the end came up as well. And it just was, it was really like beautiful hearing like the kind words that they all worked hard to like put these speeches together too. Like, that obviously takes a lot of courage to stand up there and speak in front of people as it is. So they all did such an amazing job.
Yep. And then I chickened out, I will say. I was asked, do you want to... All right, so this is what happened. So basically, after the first dance, I was expecting to give my talk. So because I was going to give a talk, and I was going to say thank you to all the guests and thank you to our wedding planner, and I had this whole thing planned out. But we finished our dance, and they walked us back to the table, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not doing a talk. And then once all the speeches were done, our wedding planner came up to me and said, do you want to do a talk? And at that point, I wasn't expecting to do a talk. Like, I already had it in my mind, like, oh, well, the moment that I was told already went and passed, so I'm not doing this. So I just said at that moment, no, I'm not going to do it. So once I said that, the festivities began. James Manley started playing. Kendall's boyfriend was the first one on the dance floor. He was like throwing it down, trying to break the ice, but it wasn't really like awkward middle school dance. Like, everybody just went out and started dancing. So it was very natural. There was a lot of headbanging. What else did we do? We did
like the limbo?
The limbo, yeah. I don't know who set that up, but we just started doing the limbo. We had the cut the cake moments. They created that pathway you and I walked down with all the bubbles and the dancing. And then after all that, it was just straight headbanging, which
was great.
It was only an hour and 10 minutes that Nick had for his set.
It felt so long.
But it felt like a 3-hour set. It felt like forever. which was great. All right, so I did want to just rush through that because I know we're getting near the end of the time here. Caitlin and I stayed 3 or 4 days after, which once again, if you do destination, highly recommend. We were able to decompress. We were able to have time to ourselves, which we didn't have a whole ton during the wedding. So that was super exciting. We did a couple of excursions, but mostly just hung out and loved each other. We had a point here that we wanted to talk about our honeymoon because that would probably be a question. We're doing our honeymoon next year, so we're waiting a full year. So our 1-year anniversary in July will also be our honeymoon, and we're planning on doing 3 weeks in Italy, which is going to be very hard for me. I've never done 3 weeks of no work, but we'll get through it. We'll make it through. Sorry, I'm talking fast. Anything you want to say there?
No, yeah, I think us choosing to do the honeymoon at a later time is nice because it just kind of separates the wedding and the honeymoon. I feel like if we had gone from our honeymoon to 3 weeks in Italy, I would have been like, whoa. So, yeah, I think it's just like another trip on the horizon to look forward to. We've both never been to Europe, so that's exciting. My mom's side's from Sicily, so I'd love to see, that part of Italy as well.
Or London.
Chad's been to London, yep. So yeah, super excited for that. If you guys have any recommendations, if you've been to Italy, if you've been to Europe, what places did you like the most? We'd love to hear. We haven't started the booking process yet, but honestly, we'll probably start in like the next couple of months just because I think things fill up really fast there from what I've heard.
Yeah.
But yeah, biggest things to kind of like tie this podcast all together.
Yes, we're getting into our tips part. We got 3. We'll make these quick. Yeah, hopefully you're still listening. Go ahead if you want to do the first one.
Yeah, well, the first thing we wanted to say is tip number 1 for your wedding in general is to be present. I know that it's easy to get wrapped up in, taking the pictures, doing this, talking to these people, but at the end of the day, it's like this day / couple of days leading up, it's about you. It's about, making memories that you will literally remember for the rest of your life. And my wedding, or our wedding personally, was the most
wedding.
Our wedding was the most present day of my life. Genuinely, I was not thinking about anything else besides the wedding, besides Chad, besides my loved ones. It was just so amazing. So yeah, stay off your phone. Other people will take pictures for you. Be present. Don't think about where you need to go next. It's just, yeah, I'm just going to be a sounding board. Like I said, I'll keep it quick, but being present would be my number 1 advice. It goes very, very quick, and people were telling us that this is going to go really quick. Make sure you really enjoy it. And I'm happy somebody told me that. So it may sound like no shit, Chad, duh, but yeah, it does go very quick. So be present, enjoy it. The next one that we had here, and we've kind of sprinkled this throughout the past hour, so like I said, we won't go too deep into this, but make it you, not for others. That was, once again, I'm going to give credit to Caitlin there, but Caitlin really made sure that this was the way that we wanted it, that we weren't doing it for other people. So all the stuff that we've already talked about, the way that we've set up the wedding, that was exactly how we wanted it done because we felt like that was going to be the best experience for our wedding. Yep. There's no right or wrong way. It's literally all personal preference. At the end of the day, if you don't align with something like bridesmaids, groomsmen, first look, ceremony look, whatever it is, just make it you, because at the end of the day, you're the one getting married. You're the one who is going to remember this day for the rest of your life. So why make it about anyone else or try and appease to other people, music preferences or anything? It's unfortunately, if people didn't like dubstep and they're at our wedding,
nobody complained.
No one complained. Everyone honestly ended up loving it. So
nobody's going to give a shit. They know it's your day.
They know it's your day. They want to support you. They want to see you happy. And it's a wedding. Everyone's going to have fun. So, yeah.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say there is usually in most sense I'm a traditionalist, but once again we made this wedding very non-traditional in every sense of the way, and I'm very happy that we did. The last one that I had was opposite. Caitlin, what did you say about this one? People aren't gonna like this one?
I think when it comes to weddings, obviously budgeting for what's realistic for you, because weddings can get very expensive. So obviously come up with a budget that makes sense for you and your partner, what you want that vision to look like. You could still have a beautiful wedding and not have to spend tons of money. But Chad's advice was...
My advice was spend the money.
Yeah.
There was many things that were put on my plate that I was nervous about financially. Oh no, that's a lot of money. Do we really need that as a part of the wedding? Where can we cut? But now that we're through it and it's happened, I'm very happy that there were parts that we did spend the money, because it made the experience that much more special. And once again, you're only going to get married once, hopefully, obviously, so you better do it right.
100%.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow, good job.
We did it. Holy shit. An hour and 8 minutes.
Hopefully you guys are still with us. Maybe some of you are like, wow, that was the best podcast ever. Maybe some of you guys are like, God.
They left after 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, if you're still here, first off, we love you. Second off, thank you for listening. And third, if you have any other further questions about the wedding or questions pertaining to the wedding, always feel free to DM us. I could talk about the wedding literally every day forever. So
you're gonna get pelted with more pictures, videos once we get them. But anyways, I won't keep you a second longer. Thank you again, guys. We appreciate it. Follow Caitlin if you don't. Where can they check you out?
Caitlin Michelle Fit.
All right, we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.
Peace.